Welcome back to Now You're Cooking at the Athol Library. Today we're going to feature clam linguine. And this is a real pretty easy dish to make and very tasty and pretty healthy in most ways. So we'll get going now. And this has linguine, butter, olive oil, garlic, clams, dry white wine, or I have cooking wine, a carrot, and oregano, parsley, salt, and pepper. So not too many ingredients. And I've got the butter in here. It's like 3 tablespoons butter that I've melted in here in the saucepan. And I'm going to add 2 minced garlic cloves. Well, actually they're pressed in my garlic press. So get those sauteing. And then add 3 tablespoons olive oil. Get that cooking. And meanwhile, you can start cooking the linguine, which I have done. I'm going to reheat that here in a moment, so it's nice and hot when I try it. I don't have anyone today that likes clams, so I'm going to be oohing and awing and humming on my own here. So I hope you believe me when I'm going on about it, how delicious it is, etc. So you saute garlic in oil and butter. And then I've got 2 cans of chopped clams. And you dump them into the strainer like that. And so when the garlic, you don't want to cook the garlic too long, because garlic browned can make the garlic really overpowering, so you don't want to cook it too long to get brown. So then you add the clam juice. Set this over here. And this recipe calls for 1 large carrot cut julienne style, which is more like matchsticks. Fat matchsticks. So that's the parsley right there. So I'm going to show you how to cut julienne carrot. So I get a big carrot and I peeled it and then cut it in pieces, like about 1.5 inch piece, size pieces, and then cut it down the middle, and then cut off 1 edge like that, and then cut another and another, and then in half. It's really a hard thing to do. So my husband didn't see why I had to spend all this time cutting matchstick pieces of carrot. I mean, why can't you just cut them in rounds? And it's all about look. It's nothing about flavor or if it cooks differently. It just looks more professional and impressive, so I'm into that. So I'm going to crank the heat up and add the carrots. And then we add calls for fresh oregano, or 1.5 teaspoons dried. And I have oregano growing at home, but it's the pink flowered oregano, which is not the true culinary. It doesn't have the flavor if it's used fresh, like oreganum, vulgare is the true culinary oregano. And this dried is what I use because I don't have fresh. But we do have fresh parsley. So about 1.5 teaspoons of that. And then this is the white cooking wine. And you add 1/3 cup. There. And simmer away. I like to get every morsel. I feel sorry for people that don't like seafood. They're really missing out. But then I think with this, there's more for me. So we'll simmer this until the carrots are firm. You don't want to cook it too long and have them be soggy. Okay, the carrots are nice and tender now, so I turn the heat off. I'm going to get the pasta that I pretty much cooked almost thoroughly, and I'm going to put it back in the hot water. I learned this when I was working at Louie's Italian restaurant, and the cook back in the kitchen would just have a big pile of partially cooked pasta, spaghetti, and just a big container of water, and when he'd serve up a dish, he'd reheat it in the hot water, and which I thought was pretty cool, and the only way to do it for a restaurant. So since we are the Now You're Cooking restaurant in the Athol Library, I'm learning some things and trying some things. So I'm also going to add, I did taste this a little, I'm going to add some salt. Not much, because not everybody loves it like I do, and some pepper. And then I'm going to add the clams. And then stir it around. Get the pasta out of here. I'm hungry today, so. That looks pretty good size. Scoop up the sauce. This is nice served in a bowl too. That way you have all the juice, the broth that stays in the bottom of the bowl. And then you sprinkle it. Okay, got myself a fork, and you could probably use any pasta, but linguine is good, and you just twirl it around like so, and needs more salt, but it's really good. And like I said, it's pretty healthy, and for those of us that like seafood. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll have the recipe here soon. Thanks, and now you're cooking. Bye.